What is going on, guys? This is Simon from Shanghai again. The last weekend from June 6 to June 8 is very important to many Chinese students. It is the Chinese National College Entrance Examination, commonly known as GaoKao, which takes place only once a year. Each year, there are roughly 10 million high school graduates taking the exam. If you want to go to college in China, you will have to take it. Of course, nowadays, there are some other exceptions. If you got special talents, like winning the Olympic math medal, you probably don't need to take the exam. And some university will hold independent tests for a small number of candidates. However, for the majority of the Chinese students, taking the National College Entrance Examination is still the only way for them to get into college. So today, let's just briefly talk about the Chinese National College Entrance Exam. For most regions, the exam lasts about 9 hours over a period of 3 days. In those 3 days, all students will take Chinese, math, and English tests. In addition, students need to choose between two concentrations, either the social science-oriented area or the natural science-oriented area. Students who choose social science receive further testing in history, politics, and geography, while those who choose natural sciences are tested in physics, chemistry, and biology. After the exam, students will fill one application form. The form and the application process will be slightly different depending on the region, but generally speaking, students will be able to write down about 10 programs from different schools to which they want to apply. The order you write this program is very important. Unlike the United States, where you can apply multiple schools and receive offers from multiple colleges at the same time, in China, if you get accepted by the program on your first spot of the list, then you will be enrolled into the school. Other programs will not receive your application at all. Therefore, normally, students will put their most favorite program on the top of the list and put their least favorite one at the bottom. After that, the admission process begins. Students with higher overall scores will be able to select their program earlier than other students. The whole process is done by computers, and it is probably like this. The system will start reviewing students' application one by one from the top to the bottom based on the overall score. The system picks a student and checks the number one program on his list and see whether the program is full. If it is not full, it will put him into the program. Then the system moves on and starts reviewing the next student. If the program is full, then it will check the number 2 programs on his list, then number 3, until it finds an open spot for him. The higher the score you get, the better the chance you will have getting into your most favorable program. For instance, the top 100 students will probably be able to get into their number 1 program on their application because by the time system reviews their application, their most favorite program is not full yet. Nevertheless, for the students with lower scores, they probably won't be able to get accepted by their most favorite program since a lot of students have already enrolled, and if the program is very popular, it may have reached to its maximum number of enrollment. Anyway, if you still don't understand how it works, you just need to remember that if you want to get into a better college in China, you need to study really hard, and the score is the only factor which determines whether you can go to that college. For most average Chinese people, GaoKao is the most important exam in their entire lives. It not only decides which college you will go to, but also has a huge impact on your career and your life. In China, after you graduate from college, society will categorize you by the college you have attended. If you graduated from a 985 college, then you are a 985 guy. If you graduate from a 211 college, then you are a 211 guy. A lot of big companies only hire students graduating from those two kind of college. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't graduate from one of these colleges, you won't even be able to get an interview. Oh, by the way, tuition for Chinese college is more affordable compared to the United States. The tuition for 4 years study usually costs around $4,000 to $5,000. Therefore, for many students coming from a low-income family, getting into a good college is the only way to change not only him but his entire family's future. When I was a college student in Shanghai, some of my classmates from other provinces are 2 years or even 4 years older than me. They told me that in their small cities, going to college is their only hope. So a lot of them will attend GaoKao again and again until they get accepted by a college. In their cities, they would rather spend 3 more years in the classroom studying the same material over and over again instead of being a farmer or making minimum wage in the factory like their parents. For most students, attending GaoKao is the most nerve-wracking experience they have ever had in their lives. The sole goal of more than 12 years hard study from preschool to high school is to get you ready for GaoKao. If you fail the test, either you study for one more year from day to night and go through the nerve-wracking test again, or you can choose to quit and all your 12 years effort go to waste. Personally, I don't like the experience at all and I would never want to do it again. However, I think GaoKao is probably one of the fairest systems in China's society. In terms of fairness, I would say it is better than the American college admission system. Let me explain. I know in the United States, students also need to take the standardized test, SAT or ACT, before applying for colleges. Nevertheless, except for the standardized test, there are also many other factors that will influence admission decisions, such as GPA, personal statement, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. Personally, I don't think they are good references. Let's talk about the first factor, GPA. Let's say we have two students, Bucky and Mike. Bucky has a 4.0 perfect GPA and Mike has 3.5. If they are from the same high school and they were taught by the same teacher and took the same exam, then we can safely say Bucky is better than Mike, right? But what if they are from different schools? What if Bucky is taught by a bunch of very friendly teachers who tend to give their students higher grades, and Mike is taught by some strict, grumpy old dudes who barely give any good grades to their students? Under that circumstance, how do the reviewer tell who is better than who? Other than that, when I was in high school, a lot of my friends who plan to study in the United States would just ask our teacher to write higher grades on their transcripts. I don't think any school from the US will spend time to check the validity of each student's GPA. The second one, personal statement. I have no idea how reviewers are able to tell who is more suitable for the program by reading those letters. First of all, how do you know who actually wrote the statement? Did the student write himself or did he ask someone else to write for him? Second of all, how do you know whether the statement the student write down is true or not? Bucky says that he wants to save the world and make it a better place, so he decided to become a doctor. While Mike says that doctor is a very lucrative career, that's why he wants to be a doctor. If you are the reviewer, which one would you prefer? Are you sure Bucky is telling the truth? And what do you think about Mike? Is making money an inferior reason for being a doctor than saving the world? In China, we have a lot of agencies who help students write personal statements when they apply for American schools. And a lot of them don't even read it after the agency wrote it for them. The third one, recommendation letters. So basically, it means the more successful people you know, the more likely you are to succeed. Damn, I wish my parents know the president. I could go to Harvard as well. Last one, extracurricular activities. This one is also very subjective. Let's say Bucky is from a rich family. He has a variety of activities during the weekend. Horse riding, playing golf, skiing. He also went to East Africa with his family to help out the poor kids over there. While our little Mike is from a single parent family, he has to work in the fast food restaurant during the weekend to support his mom and siblings. His only extracurricular activity is flipping burger in the McDonald's. So who do you think has better extracurricular activities, Bucky or Mike? When there are so many subjective metrics in the admission process, it gives too much power to the admission committee. We all know that when someone gets too much power without any public supervision, he will inevitably become corrupted, and people from the US are no exception. Let's look back to GaoKao. It has long been criticized for putting students under tremendous stress and denying students of getting a well-rounded education. However, it excludes subjective metrics from the admission process, which minimize human error and bias. For students from less privileged backgrounds, GaoKao is probably the only place where they can compete evenly with their rich friends, and it is the only chance for them to make it to the top. If we adopt the US admission system, I don't think those poor kids will have any chance. Of course, GaoKao is far from being a perfect system. It still has several issues, like regional discrimination. It is much harder for kids from less developed areas to get into college than students from big cities such as Shanghai and Beijing, because most top universities are in those big cities, and they enroll more students from their own cities than those rural villages. GaoKao also only take place once a year. If you miss it, you have to study hard for another whole year to attend the next one. And for rich kids, they don't even bother to attend GaoKao nowadays. There are so many outstanding universities in the West waiting for their easy money. So at the end of the day, GaoKao may gradually become poor man's game. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. What do you think about GaoKao? And do you think it is better than the US admission system in terms of fairness? Please leave your thoughts under the comment section. And as always, if you like my video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want more content about China from average local Chinese, please subscribe to my channel. Once again, thank you so much for the love and support, and I will catch you next time. Peace.